Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2024, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence and United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Arts, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are celebrating International Day of Awareness on Food Loss and Waste Production. With the theme, Stop Food Loss and Waste for the People, for the Planet. Reducing food losses and waste is essential in a world where the number of people are affected by hunger and been slowly on the rise since 2014, and tons of edible food are lost and are wasted every day. Globally, around 13.2% of food production is lost between the harvest and retail, while an estimated 90% of total global food production is wasted in households, in the food service, and in retail. Altogether, the International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste 2024 will highlight the critical need for financing of bolster efforts to reduce food loss and waste, contribute to achieving climate goals, and advancing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. On this International Day, let's take action to solve food loss and waste, spread the messages in different languages to reach all around. While an estimated 735 million people go hungry globally, food loss and waste generate 8 to 10% of GHGs, that is greenhouse gases, and is a methane hotspot. Household waste over 1 billion meals worth of edible food every day. The equivalent of 1.3 meals every day for everyone in the world affected by hunger. Opportunities to the finance food loss and waste reduction and low carbon diets remain untapped, with only US dollars 0.1 billion invested annually in 2019-20. This represents a minor fraction of annual needs, estimated at US dollars 48 to 50 billion. So why it is important to reduce food loss and waste? Food loss and waste undermine the sustainability of our food systems. When the food is lost or wasted, all the resources that were used to produce this food, including water, land, energy, labor, and capital, go on waste. In addition, the disposal of food loss and waste in landfills leads to greenhouse gas emission, contributing to the climate change. Food loss and waste can also negatively impact food security and availability and contribute to increasing the cost of food. Our food systems cannot be resilient if they are not sustainable. Hence, the need to focus on the adoption of integrated approaches designed to reduce food loss and waste. Actions are required globally and locally to maximize the use of food we produce. The introduction of technologies, innovative solutions, including e-commerce platforms for marketing, retractable mobile food processing systems, new ways of working, and good practices to manage food quality and reduce food loss and waste are key to implementing this transformation change. With 6 years left to reach the target 12.3 of Sustainable Development Goal 12, responsible consumption and production, there is an urgent need to accelerate action to reduce food loss and waste. Act now for small changes in our daily life. Clap for helping farmers, companies, and cooperatives for their food loss goals. FAO and UNEP will host a global virtual event every year and in various forms and programs, awareness campaigns on this day on 27th September at 13:30 CEST in observance of the 5th International Day of Awareness of the Food Loss Waste, which has been organized. Food loss and waste courses are also available on FAO e-learning academy about food loss index, which will aid countries in reducing food losses along production and supply chains. For something closer to your daily life, such as food waste, which occurs in shops and at home, there is another course from the UN Climate Change Food Waste Prevention. Increased attention to food loss and waste. When the reductions in food loss occur close to the farm, they are most effective in addressing food insecurity and alleviating stress on land and water. When the reduction in food waste occur downstream in the supply chain and at the consumer level, they are key to cutting greenhouse gas emissions. Packaging now contributes approximately 5.4% of global food system emissions, more than any other supply chain factor, including transportation. Cutting food loss and waste reduces poverty and hunger and fights climate change. In terms of climate change, the damage will be reduced, taking into account that nowadays, food loss and waste is responsible for about 7% of the global greenhouse gas emissions, and nearly 30% of the world's agricultural land is currently occupied to produce food that is ultimately never consumed, just to name a few examples. Food loss happens at the farm, inadequate harvesting time, climatic conditions, practices applied at harvest and handling, and challenges in marketing produce. In storage, with inadequate storage decisions made at the earlier stages of supply chain that cause products to have a shorter shelf life. In transit, good infrastructure and efficient trade logistics are key to preventing food loss. Processing and packaging play a role in preserving foods, and losses are often caused by inadequate facilities, technical malfunction, or human error. Food waste happens in the shop. The causes of food waste at the retail level are linked to limited shelf life, the need for food producers to meet aesthetic standards in terms of color, shape, and size, and variability in demand. In the home, consumer waste is often caused by poor purchase and meal planning, excessive buying influenced by overlarge proportions and package sizes, confusion over labels, best before and use by, and poor in-home storing. These are different ways where food loss and food waste happens. So we need to be aware on the importance of food loss and waste issues and promoting global efforts towards resolving. That is why in 2019, the 74th United Nations General Assembly designated 29 September as the International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste wide resolution 74 by 209, recognizing as International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste, wide resolution 74 by 209, recognizing as a fundamental role that sustainable food production plays in promoting food security and nutrition. Andorra and San Marino played a key role in proposing the International Day of Awareness of Food Loss and Waste, in short known as FLW. The day offers an opportunity to sharpen focus on the need to reduce FLV and how doing so can contribute to sustainable development. Considering the world's growing population, the United Nations see an urgent need in addressing large quantities of the food lost and wasted around the globe, stressing the risks applied for climate change, agriculture sustainability, human livelihoods, and food supplies. Cutting back on the food loss and waste is also stated in 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and especially Target 12.3, which calls for halving the per capita global food waste at the retail consumer levels as well as reducing food losses along production and supply chains. FAO and UN Environment leading agencies in facilitating the observation and addressing large. Considering the world's growing population, the United Nations see an urgent need in addressing the large quantities of food lost and wasted around the globe, stressing the risks implied for climate change, agriculture sustainability, human livelihoods, and food supplies. Cutting back on food loss and waste is also stated in 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and specifically Target 12.3, which calls for halving the per capita global food waste at the retail and consumer levels, as well as reducing food losses along production and supply chains. FAO and UN Environment leading agencies in facilitating the observance of the day and are currently underway to measure progress towards achieving our goals. FAO leads the efforts related to the food loss and index provides guidance for policy interventions, making a business and economic case with profit incentives to reduce food loss and waste, and then further expanded this rationale to address concerns about food insecurity. Meanwhile, UN Environment in change of the Food Waste India, that is Food Waste Index, FWI is committed to accelerating action through its Sustainable Food Systems program of activities which aim to raise awareness as well as catalyze action in local, region, and international level. When reductions in food loss occur close to the farm, they are most effective in addressing food insecurity and in alleviating stress on land and water. When reductions in food waste occur downstream in the supply chain or at the consumer level, they are key to cutting greenhouse gas emissions. Packing now contribute approximately 5.4% of global food systems emissions, more than any other supply chain factor, including transportation. Today is also commemorated as World Day of Migrants and Refugees, which is celebrated on September 26th or on the last Sunday of September. It is a day designated yearly by the United Nations to commemorate the honor people who have been forced to flee their homes, people who have escaped conflict and seen adversity and against all odds, forged their way to find greener pastures in places far away from their homes. This day has been designated to recognize the courage and fortitude of these people and heighten our level of empathy and understanding for the plight and difficult decisions many immigrants have had to make. The activities carried out on this day are to support and create opportunities for immigrants and refugees. Every year since 1914, the Church has been celebrating World Day of Immigrants and Refugees. The inception of this day can be traced to just a few months before the outbreak of the First World War. after being moved by the outcry of millions of Italians migrating abroad due to Duris Pope Pius X called as on everyone to join hands together and pray for the migrants. Benedict, who was succeeded only a few months later, was moved by Pope's blessed sensitivity and carried out some practical initiatives. During this time, a letter titled The Pain and Concerns was sent to Italian diocesan ordinaries with a request to establish an annual day of awareness to spirituality and economically support the pastoral work of Italian immigrants. In 2019, the number of immigrants all over the world had reached a staggering 272 million, which was 51 million more than it was in 2010. Many people left their home country for several reasons, such as seeking a better education for themselves, in search of a better and more reasons, profitable jobs, and to escape unjust prosecution or war. Upon arrival to the foreign land and they hope to call their new home, they meet different challenges due to their limited resources. They often have limited access to clean water, electricity, warm shelter, and health facilities. Today is a day dedicated to expressing concerns to many who face challenges related to immigration, and is also a day to recognize our foreign brothers and sisters' journeys and shine a light on their stories, whichever way we can. People are seeking refuge from all over the world. However, statistics show 70% of all refugees originate from 5 countries: Syria, Afghanistan, South Sudan, Myanmar, and Somalia. In these countries, war and conflict are major reasons why people flee. Contrary to what many people may think, many refugees return home, though in recent years, fewer have returned to their national country, either because they have started a new life in their host country or it is still unsafe for them to return. Even though recently people tend to use words interchangeably, refugee and migrant doesn't mean the same, especially in media. The main difference is choice. A migrant is someone who chooses to move, while a refugee is someone who was forced to. Today is also commemorated as World Deaf Day, which is celebrated on every last Sunday of September, falling on September 29th this year. It is a day that recognizes the rights of the deaf people all around the world and calls on different organizations to help uphold these rights. On World Day of the Deaf, awareness is raised about the challenges of deaf people. It also highlights the importance of sign language, and not only for deaf people, but also for all persons. World Deaf Day was initiated in 1958 by the World Federation of the Deaf. The holiday falls on Sunday of the International Week of the Deaf and International Day of Sign Languages, introduced later on, which is the last week in the month of September. World Day of the Deaf is a day that calls for the attention of governments and non-government organizations, philanthropists, and the general society to support the community of deaf people. The holiday features the achievements of deaf people all around the world. It helps many people to understand the remarkable works of people who are deaf. It also creates awareness about the challenges faced by deaf people and highlights the importance of sign language for the general public. World Day of the Deaf is recognized every last Sunday of September in order to help deaf people and their communities find a safe place in the society at large. Through this initiative, many people have become interested in helping deaf people fit in society better. Although the holiday helps to create awareness about hearing loss, it has been found that many people are at risk of avoidable permanent hearing loss. Organizations like the World Health Organization and the United Nations are very much concerned about the issue of deafness, and they also given their support to the World Federation of the Deaf. However, during this day, people are encouraged to support those suffering from hearing loss It is also a day to help create awareness concerning some dangerous habits that can easily lead to hearing loss. The first World Congress of the World Federation of the Deaf take place in Rome, Italy. The World Federation of the Deaf initiates the holiday to celebrate deaf people. The World Federation in 1958 and the World Federation of the Deaf is recognized by the United Nations and World Health Organization in 1959. International Day of Sign Languages is recognized and marked during the last week in September along the World Day of the Deaf in 2008. So learn sign language. Sign language is a language like all others. It is interesting to learn, also helpful in communicating with deaf people. Deaf people have special rights that help them cope better in the society. We can help uphold these rights, give to charities that help create more opportunities for deaf people. Also, reach out to deaf people and help them in any way you can. More than 460 million people suffer from hearing loss, and this number accounts for about 5% of the world population. Noise is a leading cause of hearing loss. Continuous exposure to loud noise, usually causing hearing loss. Many famous people live with hearing loss, and more than 30 million Americans are exposed to loud noise every day. According to the World Health Organization, over a billion people are at risk of permanent hearing loss. So, deaf people are responsible for many remarkable feats. They deserve a day to be celebrated. On World Deaf Day of the Deaf, we get to see more tips about sign language and how to see it. And this is a universal sign language that you can easily pick up. Today is also commemorated as World Heart Day. Every year, over 17 million people die from heart diseases. As a way to fight this, the World Heart Federation created World Heart Day. It is celebrated on every year on September 29. People around the world can find events and raise awareness about cardiovascular disease, CVD, its warning signs, the steps you can take to fight it, and how to help those who may be suffering. On September 29, fight CVD by getting involved with the World Heart Day even near you. All the matters of the heart are observed on the World Heart Day on September 29. World Heart Day is observed and celebrated annually on September 29th with the aim of increasing awareness of cardiovascular diseases and how to correct them to negate their global impact. The International Day was established by the World Heart Federation in collaboration with the World Health Organization. The president of World Heart Federation from 1997 to 1999, Anthony Bayes de Luna, had conceived his idea. The first celebration of the annual event took place on September 24, 2000, and until 2011, World Heart Day was observed on the last Sunday in September. Cardiovascular diseases are the most common cause of death globally. An estimated 17 million people die from CVD every year. Coronary heart disease or strokes were the major causes of these deaths. A common misconception about CVD is that it impacts more people in developed countries who are more reliant on technology and lead sedentary lifestyles. But more than 80% of the deaths occur in the middle income and low income countries. Fortunately, main causes of cardiovascular diseases are modifiable factors, which include lack of exercises, smoking, and a poor diet. Economic systems of countries are also majorly impacted by cardiovascular diseases. The cost of treatment is high. Failure to treat the diseases timeously results in loss of productivity and long absences from work. More than 90 countries take part in this international observance every year. As a result, World Heart Day has been proven to be an effective means for disseminating Information about CVD, the high level of involvement from governments and organizations, is the most important for developing countries which are heavily affected by these diseases. Every year, the World Heart Foundation sponsors the international event and declares a theme for the day. Distribution of information and discussions on cardiovascular diseases takes place on platforms such as forums, television talk shows, podcasts, posters, and many more. Walks, fundraisers, free health checks, concerts, sporting events, and other activities are hosted to encourage people to do more active and aware of their health. Prior to this day, scientific meetings and gatherings on cardiovascular research were hosted by medical societies. Going by the numbers, 1,15,000 is the number of times our heart beats in a day. 2,000 is the number of gallons of blood pumped by the heart every day. 1893 is the year in which the first open heart surgery occurred. 3,500 is the age in years of an Egyptian mummy in which the earliest known case of heart disease was identified. 1,200 is the fastest heartbeat per minute, that of a pygmy shrew. 1 pound is the weight of a human heart. 60,000 is the number of miles our blood vessel system can extend to. 1,500 pounds is the weight of blue whale heart. 1.5 gallons is the amount of blood pumped by our heart each minute. Created by the World Heart Federation, the aim of World Heart Day is to inform people around the globe that heart diseases are the world-leading cause of death and highlight the actions that need to be taken for prevention and control. The theme of World Heart Day changes every year, and World Heart Day is celebrated with fundraisers, awareness events, and activities such as concerts, sporting events, and marathon runs. So you may be able to find a World Heart Day event near you that's offering health check services or awareness like these online events which you are attending today. And there are also various offline events and programs you can attend to. Maintaining a healthy weight and low body mass index can help decrease the chances of developing heart disease. Whether you decide to attend a gym or fitness class or prefer to get involved at a World Heart Day event, try to make being active a priority. Most cardiac emergencies occur near someone who could potentially help, so setting up a CPR class and learning how to resuscitate a person could save lives. Cooking demonstrations, healthy lectures, and fitness lessons are also a great events to plan for World Heart Day. Each year, the US spends approximately $200 billion in healthcare services, medication, and lost productivity due to heart disease. Smoking, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol, specifically LDL, are the key risk factors for the heart disease. Half of all Americans suffer from at least one of these. Approximately 10% of the children in the US have high blood pressure due to the consumption of too much sodium. Approximately 47% of cardiac-related deaths take place outside of a hospital, demonstrating that people don't take early warning signs seriously enough. As the World Federation says, September 29th is all about asking yourself, what can I do right now to look after my heart and your heart? So World Heart Day is a universal platform that has the capability to focus attention on the millions who die from heart disease each year. Through worldwide events, the day offers health and fitness tips to people who can lead a life of cardiovascular ailments. By offering a variety of fun, healthy events, walks, runs, public talks, concerts, etc., the day can inspire you to fight cardiovascular disease and live a longer and healthier life. Cardiovascular disease, CVD, is the world's #1 killer. Combined conditions affecting the heart or blood vessels such as heart attack, stroke, and heart failure kill more than 20.5 million every year. The majority of these deaths happen in low and middle income countries. So we all want to bring this number down, way down. And there's hope. 80% of the premature deaths from CVD are preventable by making small changes to our lifestyle. What we eat and drink, and how much we exercise, and how we manage stress, we can better manage our heart and beat CVD. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations. So thank you everyone for joining us. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been launched in the form of polls. And tomorrow, we are having World Suicide Prevention Day. We request everyone to join the sessions. So see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.